Hello everyone, welcome back to With Emma. Today is another solo segment and we're going to be discussing sexual morality today. I think it's a very important topic. Sexual morality is sex prior to marriage, and there needs to be more of an understanding from the spiritual side, because I know from the physical it sounds like, I just don't get it, like why, but there's actually, sex is spiritual. It's a sacred act, and there's a reason why the Lord says no. It's not for fun or for control. There's actually a reason behind it, and I just want to share everything that I know on it, because I really want to help people with it. I know it's one of the biggest sins that we can commit. It's normalized. It's so normalized. It's hilarious. But yeah, let's do a deep dive. I'm obviously going to follow with the Bible scripture to start this solo segment. It's Ephesians 5, verse 3. But among you there must not be even a hint of sexual immorality or any kind of impurity or of greed, because these are improper for God's holy people. Very improper. We cannot be impure. I'm going to start with sexual liberation is a lie. Sexual liberation has been crafted by Satan. Okay? If you are sexually liberate, what benefits do you get? I'm generally asking, like, if you're someone who's like hypersexual and you sleep around and you have no, attachment to it, what does that bring you? Because I don't think it brings you happiness. I feel like when you're alone, you're still like sad and, lonely and etc. What does it bring you? It's promoted today in today's society, and the agendas are pushed because it's satanic. I will always say, this is Satan's world. This is not God's world. So everything that is pushed is satanic. Sleeping around is dark. There's no benefit. If you are promiscuous, it's not something to be proud of. And it saddens me that the young generation see this. So I really just want to shed awareness and information and understanding as to why we shouldn't do it. But sexual liberation is a lie. Women, please stop thinking that it's confidence. There's no benefit, and the only benefit you are giving by being promiscuous is the man. You are against men and the agenda, but you're still pleasing them. Do you understand? Let's go a bit deeper. Sex is a sacred act. Let me get comfortable. Sex is a sacred act. It's a spiritual act. Let's just take, person to person, like Jesus out of it and everything, religion, whatever. Sex is spiritual. It's sacred. The feelings, the emotions that you get from it is a spiritual act. Body, soul, and spirit come from sex. That is the severity of the act. You can try and prevent it as much as you can. The fact that we have to do so much things in order to prevent a baby coming proves the power of sex. And it's now been demonized and it's just dark. It's actually really dark, and it makes me laugh that it's been so normalized and it's so pushed, because with witchcraft, right, this is the severity of sex, and I know I'm going a bit deep already, but whatever. With witchcraft, sex is the most powerful portal to transfer spells, generational curses, all of these things. Like, this is a thing. Witches and warlocks put spells and curses on people. I know this sounds like a horror film or whatever, but you need to understand, where do people get these ideas from? Horror films. This is all real life, right? Witches and warlocks do that. So I speak on this because there's so much people that sleep with random people. They don't know who they're lying with. They don't know who they're having intercourse with. You could be sleeping with a witch. And I'm talking to men here more so. Women, yes, but men. You could be sleeping with a witch. I understand that, especially with men, like scientifically, there's a difference with men and women having intercourse. Men, you can detach more. You actually do not gain that much emotion when sleeping with a woman. It doesn't mean you don't gain spiritual connection. With women, we do. It's innate for us to fall in love, because that's how it should be. I had David on the show a few weeks ago, And he mentioned about the covenant with blood. When you're a virgin and blood spills, that's creating a covenant for you two. That's how it should be. So with women, I've had conversations and they say, I can have sex and I have no emotion. I'm sorry. The truth is you're broken. If you can sleep around and feel nothing, especially as a woman, you are broken. This is something that can be fixed. I'm not saying it's too far gone, but you are so broken by it. There should be emotion behind sex. You create a baby. Do you understand? You're creating life. You are creating life from intercourse. Why is it such a passion for you to just not acknowledge that? Why? Because it's beautiful. God doesn't hate sex. He's created it. He doesn't hate it, but it needs to be under the covenant of marriage because it is protected spiritually and physically, but it is protected. Do you understand? Hope you do. I'm going to touch on the physical benefits of being celibate as well. I'm not just going to speak on the spiritual stuff, but physically, you have a clearer mind. You have more understanding. You're not blurred and fooled by emotion. I feel like today, I shouldn't say I feel, I know, today in society, dating in the West is like people will sleep with people like within their first day and then they'll get into a relationship. That is emotion. You actually cannot see the person's characteristics, what they embody, what they spiritually embody because you are so blinded by lust. Lust is a drug. Lust is a sin. It is so powerful, lust. We need to stop normalizing sleeping with someone straight away and then getting into a worldly relationship. I touch on this as well. If you say you're a Christian and you align with Jesus Christ and you're in a worldly relationship and sleeping with your partner, that is a sin. You are opening up gateways to Satan to enter and attack. You have to strip and be strict when it comes to sexual discipline. It's truly a superpower. If you cannot be disciplined with your sexual desires and lust, what are you disciplined in? I find it extremely weak. I'm going to touch on before I come to Christ. So I'm not perfect. I'm not sitting here. I'm not Virgin Mary. But I've never attained a promiscuous spirit. I've always despised it in the physical. I've never respected it. And I see how Satan uses it as darkness. So this conversation and my opinions don't just come from, a biblical standpoint. It actually comes from experience, care. It's a lot of care and spiritual understanding. So yeah, it's. But I said all of that because with friends that I had in the past, I would try and shed that information on them, like share it all the time. And they just wouldn't really understand because they were so blinded by the world. But it's deep. Like it is really deep. And it's like when you lie with someone, you are taking on all their bondage. I know there's probably one of you watching, or you may know someone who is promiscuous, but their life is dark. They have so many attacks, so much things are happening, or they've been involved with someone, and ever since they've been involved with that person, their life has gone to it's just ruin. That's witchcraft. That is witchcraft. Seriously, please. I know it sounds like, no, how can that be real? Like it is. You need to understand who you're lying with. Even more so, you need to not lie with anyone before you are married. Just because, and I'm going to talk on Christians now because I've heard so many stories, but I'm going to talk about some men. And what I was saying, before I come to Christ, as I said, I've always understood the severity of sex, but I always understood the biological, difference in between women and men when it comes to intercourse. As I said before, and I touched on, men lack and they don't feel as much emotion as us. They can go around and sleep around and emotionally not feel anything. But as I said, spiritually, you are still under attack. So I know there's a big difference. So I've always kind of, and I will always be honest with you, I'm never going to sit here and lie. I've always been the person to say, I get why men sleep around because emotionally they don't feel anything and women shouldn't. But now, coming to Christ, no one shouldn't. Male, female, you should not be sleeping around. There's so much attacks and issues with sleeping around. So many. On the path to marriage and you're engaged and stuff, doesn't mean you can go and have fun and sleep with multiple women. and then go to your virgin wife. It should be the same between the both of you. And if you're on the path to marriage and you're getting engaged, you think it's okay to still fornicate, Satan can still attack. You're not married. You're not protected under the spiritual covenant of the Lord. So why do you think it's okay to do so? I really want to touch on sexual discipline because it's such a big thing. And even if you don't take anything away from this video, or if there's one thing you take away from this video and you don't understand the spiritual, like, severity sides to it, just practice your sexual discipline. Be more aware of who you decide to sleep with or what you decide to touch. If you cannot control your lust, lust controls you. And do you know what lust is? Lust comes from Satan. So what does that say? Who are you serving when you're being promiscuous? You know, I'm not for sexual liberation. I'm not for praising women that sleep around. I'm not for praising men that sleep around. I never will be. I will never raise my children to think it's okay if it's boy or girl. But if you cannot control your sexual desires, it controls you. And that says a lot. Satan literally has you under his thumb. If you cannot look at a woman and not think with emotion and think with logic, like, no, that's sexual discipline. You have to have it. Even when you're in marriage, I'm not even going to remove marriage from this. When you are married, you need sexual discipline. Lust doesn't go away just because you're married. But it's just good because you're under the covenant now. So you can be free and you can have your babies and you can, build a family. But you still need sexual discipline. Your sexual value is not your worth. I know and I understand, especially with women in today's society, we get paid millions to sexualize ourselves. Why do you think that is? Why? It is not your worth. There's beauty from within, there's beauty in your spirit, and there's beauty in your heart. You do not need to sexualize yourself to gain attention. The attention that you are gaining from these men is not the right attention. They do not want to marry you. They do not want to bear children with you. They want to use, sleep, and for it to feed their ego. It is dark. There's no benefit in sexualizing yourself. Modesty is beautiful. There's beauty in modesty. There's purity in modesty. We are women, like, we bear life. We do not need to sexualize ourselves. On the street, on social media, there's no benefit because I know you're not happy. You get that sense of attention, like, oh, yay. And then you're upset again and you're depressed and you're drinking and you're doing all of these things. Stop normalizing becoming a Jezebel and start normalizing becoming a wife. There is beauty in purity and modesty and being a wife. Being a woman who holds self-respect. Sin leads you to death. That's just the deepest, that's just the truth. It leads you to death. There's no benefit in being promiscuous. It's a lie. They are feeding you lies. What benefit do you find by laying with a different person, male and female, laying with a different person every night, every week, every month, different relationship? Do you know, you're so spiritually confused. You don't know if you want this or you want that. And then when you cannot control your lust, you start tapping into different things because you just want to fulfill that lustful need. Do you understand? It's deep. A baby comes from sex. This isn't a hug or a cuddle. This is sex. So please be aware of what you're doing and who you're lying with. And the main thing is become celibate. Even if you have a promiscuous path, or you're struggling right now. I know you struggle. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say it's easy. It's hard. Like, it's so hard, but it's discipline. And if you struggle, you are not too far gone. You can come to the Lord and he will forgive and help you. Forgiveness is just the foundation, but the help and the assistance he will have when you lean on him is beautiful. You will learn not to value lust and value the opposite sex. You truly will. Like, I don't sit here and say this all because I've read it in the Bible. It's because there is spiritual warfare and attacks attached to sex. As I said before, witches and warlocks use that as their portal. Do your research. Pray on it. Like, do your research. You will find out that this is the truth. There's a reason that you feel depressed and sad after you sleep with that girl or that man. There's a reason. It's not because he hasn't texted you back. There's a spiritual there's a spirit behind it. Okay? I'm going to end with another Bible verse. It's Romans 1 verse 24. Therefore God also gave them up to the uncleanliness in the lusts of their hearts to dishonor their bodies among themselves. You are dishonoring your body when you sleep around. Your body is a temple. If you want to take religion out of it, I always try to give two perspectives, like from the non-Christian and the Christian. But if I'm talking to someone who is like confused or they don't actually believe in God, view your body as a temple. What you bring in and what you allow to touch you and feed you is so important. I'm telling you, we are energetic. We are spiritual beings. We are spiritual. Everything is spiritual. So you have to protect yourself, you have to protect your heart, and you have to protect your spirit. And one of the biggest things with doing that is being sexually disciplined. Okay? Someone can look beautiful on the outside, but they are disgusting on the inside. Honestly. But thank you so much for watching. I pray that I've really helped you. I know it's a big struggle. It's a big sin. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not. It's hard. It's like, it's the most normalized sin. Having sex before marriage, like it's so normal, but it's not. It's not okay, and I don't want you to feel like judged or anything by this, because it's not me judging. I'm never judging. I'm just trying to share knowledge and understanding, because I always know when someone's coming to Christ or Christianity, there's always that confusion of, well, you just live by rules. And I will always say this: I do not live by rules. I live by spiritual intelligence. And because I'm spiritually intelligent, I just don't want to participate in different things. And I pray that you get to that place in due time. But thank you so much for watching. Please do follow us on our socials. It's at with Emma the show. And I will see you next week. Bye.